This topic is not new. I think this approach may be a little bit of a unique angle to it. But I've talked about it before. If you're familiar, I offer live trade videos where I record myself trade live, and I put out videos saying, hey, you know what? These are not how-to videos, so don't go and watch these videos and then go and think that you know my strategy or anything like that. But I get it. There's lots of videos on the channel, so things can get lost in the mix. So I want to take kind of another approach at it, but use an actual real-life case study, because I get it. Me just up here running my mouth yapping, it's like, okay, yeah. Technically speaking though, Clay, all you're doing is talking in theory. But none of this, where's the proof that this sort of stuff can play out? Well, I got some proof, and I thought, you know what, I'll throw in some proof. Now, if you're not familiar with my Clay Trader Mail video segment, I'd highly recommend you check that out. There's all sorts of data points and proof in that segment. But even if you don't, I had this come on one of my live trade videos, and what just stuck out is, once again, the problem with free education, how free is actually not free. And one way that it's not free is the conclusions that this person has led to are faulty. There's a massive flaw in their logic. Now, I'm not saying this person's stupid. I understand how they're making these jumps of logic, but just because they're making these jumps of logic in their mind doesn't mean that it's actually the correct form of logic to be taking. So let me first read this, and then let's do this. As I read through it, there's two words that stand out, and that's what I'm going to focus on. So let's see if we just keep an eye out for two words and see if you can get or figure out what I'm going to focus on. So Jay says, probably a newbie question, but how would you handle this trade if the stock went up and it never came back down? Literally made $20,000 paper trading with this strategy in an hour on a downtrend, but lost it all when I got too greedy and the market went against me. Rookie mistake. It went all the way up and didn't come back down. Nonetheless, thanks for putting up this helpful video. Now there's a couple of layers here, but did you notice the words here? This strategy. Meaning the strategy that they saw in the live trade video, right? Pretty straightforward stuff there. So I did go on and ask them, okay, this strategy, they're claiming that they were using my strategy that they saw in the live trade video, which I'm not saying is impossible, but I did need a little bit more context. So I asked them, hey, have you taken Clay Trader University? And I asked them that because, yeah, within this program, I talk about what I'm doing, what I'm looking for, and I break down and I show the strategy. Another part of it is I bring on other traders that use it, like myself, and I'll interview them. We'll kind of spitball ideas back and forth in the live webinars and all that good stuff. But my point here is that, okay, it is still at this point in time possible, but that, yeah, they were trying my strategy, this strategy. Now, I had a sneaking suspicion that they weren't based on some of these other things that they saw, or they mentioned, but I don't want to assume. So I asked them, well, okay, have you taken Clay Trader University? And they eventually replied back, no. They've just been watching all my free videos, which I thank them for watching the free videos. But what the problem here is that they're coming to the wrong conclusions. They are thinking that they're doing something that they're not. I get it. You think it may appear that you know what the strategy is via these live trade videos. But when you're new, as this person admitted, and don't know what you don't know, how exactly do you know that how do you even know how to define this, right? In all actuality, this. Now, if some people say, oh, you trade against the trend. Okay. Could you get any more broad? I hope if that's what you're thinking, please realize there's a lot more to a strategy than trade against the trend. I get it. That's maybe a very, very high up viewpoint of things, but a true strategy system has a lot more details than just that. And again, anybody that's been part of Clay Trader University, you know what I mean is on the surface, yeah, it looks like there's not much going on, but when you hear us when I talk to other traders and such that do it, there's a lot of little details that's like, oh yeah, that little thing made a difference. So to know that this person has just been watching the free stuff and then is drawing faulty conclusions about my strategy because of what they're basing it on, that's just a valid chain of logic there. And then what they conclude was, and this is always typical, They got greedy. That was their conclusion on why they lost all that money, which you're up $20,000. You make $20,000, okay? But then you give that all back. I assure you, you're not trading the strategy. But think about it. Their conclusion was, maybe I'm not actually doing the strategy right. Their conclusion was, I just got greedy. No, that greed, I assure you, had nothing to do with it. You just didn't know what you were doing in the first place. You should have probably never even been in the trade at that certain time. I don't know what you did, but I assure you, your conclusion here of, I got greedy and that's why I lost, is wrong. The proper conclusion is you didn't even have a strategy. Now, yeah, I get it. You have a very surface deep idea of what a strategy is via, watching my live trade videos. But in all actuality, you have no strategy in place. Because if you did have a strategy in place, then this right here would not have happened. Now, I don't mean that my strategy implies you're never going to lose. I'm just implying that if you did have the actual strategy, there would have been no way that you would have gotten to the point where it was giving back $20,000 in gains or whatever you said you made. That's just not going to happen. Again, I'm not saying you're not going to have losses, but it wouldn't have gotten to that point if you actually had a strategy. So that's the double whammy here, and that's a warning I want to throw out there is first, don't take my live trade videos and think that is like the how-to video, as I use all the time. If you're watching the Discovery Channel and they're showing knee surgery, that's not like a how-to video. They're not saying, okay, now go to your neighbor's house and give them knee surgery if they need it. Because I saw a how-to video on the Discovery Channel. No, they're just showing you what knee surgery looks like. My live trades is not showing you, hey, this is my strategy. It's just showing you, hey, this is how trading works. This is a form of trading. This is how it looks, for entertainment purposes only. But by no means is there any sort of, hey, first you do this and then you're supposed to do that. And if you're taking those videos as that, no. Now, if you want to learn, yeah, there's means to do that with Clay Trade University. But I just don't want you to, go down the wrong path. Now, to give this person credit, I'm glad they're at least using paper money and a demo account to do all that. But you got to be very, very careful. When you go down the free route, you're going to put yourself at risk. When you don't know what you don't know of situations like this, where you think you're doing something which you're actually not, but even worse is the conclusions that you draw from the mistakes are not the proper conclusions that you should have drawn in the first place. Like I said, there is some sort of, now of course maybe it says I want more. So that's of course why they're going to say, well, I got greedy. But that again, that's too cliche. I got greedy. I mean, if the problem was really I got greedy, then problems would be so much easier to fix in that form. But there's more to it, and the more to it has to do with the strategy, which they didn't have. So be aware of that when you're out there, especially as a new person, and whether or not you decided to invest in my program or somebody else's. Free is not free, because when you don't know what you don't know, who knows where you're actually taking yourself? Because odds are, though, when failure rates are at 90% plus, you're probably taking yourself places where you shouldn't really be. You're not intended to go, and are just going to end up biting you again. And the problem is, because money, unless you have a money tree growing outside, you only have a certain amount of learning opportunities, quote unquote, before you just straight out run out of cash. So let's make sure you're learning learning efficiently as possible. And this is one of those reasons why your learning process could be very inefficient. If you are out there trading alone currently and maybe are in the market looking for a community to join to assist you in your trading or to just help you, give you another set of eyeballs, then I do have a private trading community where you can trade alongside me and other experienced traders. So what you see popping up on the screen right now is both an information link. So if you click on the inner circle one, that is going to take you to the page where I explain all the details of what exactly come with the community, both the chat room and the newsletter. And then the other image that has popped up is a behind the scenes tour where you can see exactly what is going to be contained within the community. I take you through, like I said, a behind the scenes tour of everything, and that way you'll know precisely what you are getting when you join. So definitely check that stuff out if you are interested and thinking about wanting to join a community, and let me know if you have any questions.